Belonging. My Wish for You by Miss Boy. Growing up, I was definitely not like the other girls. I knew I was different even before I had a name for it. I was that kid, not normal, always a little bit off. Yeah, I was the little ginger-headed kid always asking why. In fact, do you remember that kid in that fairy tale? The one about the emperor's new clothes? That kid that says, but the emperor has nothing on at all. That was me. A couple of years ago, at a conference, I heard a gay Christian theologian talk about coming out. And he said something like, you must never underestimate the cost of living an authentic life. Because the truth is, you can't truly belong somewhere that requires you deny a part of yourself. We all know secrets are like a force field blocking authentic connection. So, because we can't find a place to embrace and appreciate all aspects of who we are, girls like me, we learn to tell ourselves belonging is for other people. And this is a conclusion that fertilizes all the micro messages we get telling us that there must be something wrong with us. We must be broken, subpar, not real girls. But this is a faulty logic that concludes with the inevitable fate fact of our inherent unworthiness. But when I'm with my tribe, my butch tribe, I am more myself than I am anywhere else. Our butchness connects us, and it can override any differences. Well, not always, of course. I've met plenty of butch girls, especially here in Texas. Well, I'll just say being with them is like being with a bunch of good old boys, and not a place I like to be, regardless of their plumbing, if you know what I mean. Anyway, when you find your people, your tribe, the feeling, the experience is almost ancestral. When you're together, the spirit of who you are, the isness of you resonates with the soul of who they are, the isness of them. Discovering there were other butch women was life-changing for me. It was the first time that a group of people, of women, embraced me completely. They embraced all the aspects of me the rest of the world told me I needed to change. I wish that experience for everyone, at least once in their life. One of the things that still amuses me is when people meet me and don't see who I am. Look at me. I think it's pretty bloody obvious. I've never been able to pass. Puts me in a dress and I just look like a butch in a dress, or a 1970s crossdresser having a bad day. Does this read heteronormative to you? So it always takes me by surprise when I am invisible, when who I am is invisible, when people meet me and don't get that I'm a dyke, right? Weird. Oh, and do not get me started on the straight men who flirt with me, which I'm convinced is actually a form of homoerotic cross-wiring, by the way. Somehow my female body legitimizes a latent, unfulfilled homoerotic attraction for them. A lot of people seem to think that my butchness is somehow connected with maleness or an imitation of male masculinity, because for them, if it's not womanly, it must be manly, right? But the essence of my butchness, of being butch, is at its core not masculine, and it's not male. It's got nothing to do with men. I've never wanted to be a man. Really, no offense, but when I look around, there's not really many men that I think, I see them and I think, oh yeah, I want to be like that. So, honestly, being a man just seems like a very low aspirational bar to me. So you see, being butch is just a version of womanhood. It's, well, butch. And you want to know something else that's funny? When I was younger, I was frequently called sir and challenged in public bathrooms. And that is a whole other conversation for another time. But what I've discovered now is that for me, it comes down to self-acceptance. Because once I legally changed my name to Miss Boy, I stopped being called Sir. Go figure. Yeah. It starts with self-acceptance and it ends with, well, my last breath. So these days, when a young girl, tomboy or baby butch is fascinated by me, which they frequently are, because even today, they inherit very narrow perimeters of womanness. And most of them have never seen an old lady who looks like me. So seeing a woman like me opens a whole new world of possibility for them. Me being my blatant butch self allows me to be the butch woman in their lives that my little baby butch self longed to see in mine.